Warning: some of the following images may contain offensive language and/or images. These are not presented gratuitously. They are to illustrate a point made by this presentation. Thank you. You should know how to prevent your associates' marketing fails because if they're your business associates, well, they're hopefully friends, and you wouldn't want them to be embarrassed or unsuccessful in their endeavors. If they're clients, then you're looking at something that could affect their success, something that directly affects your success. Definitely a citrus felony. The idea was pretty clever, the execution not so much. The person that perpetrated this fail lost sight of the properties of reflections in a heavily textured reflective medium like this water image. I would have lessened the color of the reflected type a bit and added a lot more intermittent waves to reflect the sky to break the inverted image in the surface of the water up a bit. Maybe raise the baseline of the type a bit as well, more from the surface as well, something. I bet the publisher's editor looked over the text forward and backwards for typos, grammatic errors, and such. The marketing department must have dropped the ball on this, however. An easy fix here would have been to change the font and the foil color on the title versus the author's name. Not sure if it's ice cream fail. This reminds me a bit of an issue I experienced with outdoor signage working with Guest House International. Backlit cabinet signage has a tendency to silhouette, mute, and/or alter the color of any graphics that are rendered in translucent darker inks. Unfortunately, not sure exactly the problem here, but the swirl of the ice cream takes on a whole new meaning. I would have approached this project in a reverse tone situation with the background being the darker color and the logotype and graphic reversing out, with preferably the ice cream lighting in white. What do you think? This one might be a bit vague for most of us due to the business's initials coincidentally creating a fairly new slang term. And it's a term that means pleasuring yourself sexually. It pays to be a bit in touch with the use of slang in your market, especially if, as a photographer, one of your niche markets is high school senior photo packages. Branding should always be handled with extreme care, especially when joining two words that share a character. In this situation, I think I would have advised to place some graphic device that allowed the L to be shared equally by pool and life. We actually had a similar situation, not as dire as this, but still had to make sure that the meaning of the two words were not obscured, as this was a poorly thought out typography concept. If you were an acquaintance of the owner of this new eating establishment and you rounded the corner and saw this window vinyl version of this new logo graphic, could you bring up the obvious problem with the design? In all fairness to the designer, I don't think this was the intended look he was going for. It looks as though this might be a failure to communicate art direct or proof the cut vinyl sign vendor's work. If you notice, there are some lines that indicate the interior of the mustache part of the graphic. Those are probably the areas that were to be cut out, not the area around the chef's face. I'm not sure what happened here. I think there were two different concepts on this window decal, and they got transposed when they were mashing them up. I would think it would have read, I, heart shape symbolizing love, my dog. Maybe the bone shape should have been the overall shape of the decal, or just left out altogether. It seems as though I've seen Levi Strauss experiment with script before, but I think it was more to do with the Levi Strauss signature and not utilizing a script font or a bastardized version of a font. Certain script characters can be very hard to read at times and take on a life of their own. The capital Q in script fonts varies widely, but this I think was just poor decisions by the artist when he created this special script version of Levi's. It definitely needed to be seen by a few more pair of eyes before going to print. The more I look at this ad fail, the more I think it might be intentional. What do you think? I guess these characters might be the most popular as far as initial jewelry. But once again, there should have been more eyes looking at an ad like this. Spelling something else with the necklaces would have been a great idea to give an ad like this a little extra boost. This one's on the designer, and maybe even the vendor that output and applied the vehicle vinyl wrap. When producing vinyl wraps, whether it's a sedan or a van or a bus, all the features of the body of the vehicle are featured in the template that the artist works from. The feature of this image that has the word school on an old-style designation or destination sign, the designer should have questioned what that feature was on the template, or the vinyl company should have brought it to his or her attention. That's when a good communication relationship with the vendor really comes in handy. What the other words that would have appeared next to quit, who knows? But situations like this take away from a campaign like this European PSA. Logo design. Print collateral. Displays. Exhibits. Illustration. Portrait work. Web work. Social media. Outdoor. Signage. And print ads. This is how Oxley Art does graphic design. The vision for every design project is the client's, not Oxley Art's. Oxley Art relates to the client in easy to understand terms concerning their project. Oxley Art keeps the client involved in every step of the production process. And Oxley Art directs its associates and vendors with its own high standards of quality. Be observant. Visual media fails, no matter how slight, take away from marketing efforts. A business entity that does not have an internet and/or social media presence is missing a growing market. Coordinated media campaigns are difficult to conduct for a novice, but agency fees can be exorbitant. It's counterproductive to budget for print or digital advertising, but use free in-house production staff to design content. Please refer Oxley Art for any of those situations. Your help will be greatly appreciated. Oxley Art, your complete source for graphic design.